Good day everyone! Ngayong araw ay pag-uusapan natin ang isa sa mga theory sa Pilipinas. Ito ay tinatawag na pantayong pananaw o tinatawag din sa English na from us, for us perspective. Pero bago natin siyasatin ng pantayong pananaw, bigyan muna natin ito ng small context. Ang pantayong pananaw ay isang theoretical framework and movement sa Philippine social science. Ina-advocate nito ang pag-interpret ng Filipino history at culture from an internal indigenous perspective. Baga sa ating point of view, sa ating mga Pilipino. Gusto nito is to use the national language, which is yung Filipino, as a primary medium of discourse. Pantayong pananaw emerged in 1974 as a direct response to historical writing that was mostly in Spanish or English. Dahil yung mga naunang narratives or yung mga literary is para siya sa mga outsiders or for English-speaking elite, imbis na dapat sa mga Filipino people or ang ating sambayanan. Our objectives is to explain foundational principles, analyze its core concepts, and see its relevance to contemporary Filipino students and societal concerns. Pero bago natin talakayin ng pantayong pananaw, kilalanin muna natin kung sino nga ba ang taong nasa likod nito. Ito ay si Dr. Zeus Atayza Salazar. Ipinanganak noong 1934 at siya ay kasalukuyan ngayong 91 years old. He is a prominent Filipino historian, anthropologist, and philosopher of history. Siya ang intellectual leader and primary proponent ng pantayong pananaw, kaya siya tinawag na Father of New Philippine Historiography. Siya ay nagtapos ng BA in History bilang summa cum laude sa University of the Philippines o UP Diliman. Dito din siya nagturo sa loob ng 3 dekada na kung saan nag-serve din siya ng Dean of the College of Social Sciences and Philosophy. He championed the use of Filipino as the language of instruction and scholarship in history. Ang kanyang pantayong pananaw ay naging broader indigenization or yung pagsasakatubo kasama ang psikolohiyang Pilipino. Ngayon naman, alamin natin kung bakit ito nabuo. Noong late 1960s hanggang 1970s ay nakakita sila ng surge of nationalist sentiment and anti-colonial critics in the Philippines. Nag-start ng mag-question ng mga Filipino scholars about sa Western-centric framework na ginagamit bilang pag-aaral sa ating bansa. Si Dr. Zeus Salazar at ang kanyang mga estudyante ay gumawa ng paraan kung paano masusulat ang ating history na mula sa atin at para sa atin. O pwede ring tawagin na closed circuit of communication or talastasang bayan. Merong dalawang perspective na na-reject. Yung pangkayong pananaw at ang pangkaming pananaw. Yung pangkayong pananaw, ito yung ginagamit ng colonial era or nung Spanish or American period, kung saan foreigners write history about us using their foreign concept. At yung pangkaming pananaw naman ay yung mga nationalist elite perspective. Yung mga Filipino ay nagsusulat about sa Filipinos, pero gumagamit pa rin sila ng foreign language gaya ng English. Address nila ang external audience gaya ng mga foreign scholars. Mag-focus naman tayo sa main content o yung pinaka-essence ng pantayong pananaw. Its essence revolves around establishing a self-sufficient internal discourse within the Filipino nation. It assumes a unified linguistic cultural structure where the Filipino people are the primary audience and subject. Kumbaga, tayo yung bida, kasi tayo yung sumulat. Ang goal nito is i-articulate yung Filipino culture and experiences sa ating mga sariling term, kung saan pwede nating i-foster yung sarili nating identity. Ito ay isang cohesive, singular perspective na kung saan yung mga scholar at yung mga subject niya na tayo ay isa lang, or one with the other. It assumes that a genuine and non-alienated understanding of Filipino culture and history can only be articulated and shared using the national language, which is the Filipino. Kasali na rin yung ating mga other local language. It is also a rejection of two former perspective that addresses an external audience, which is yung pangkayong pananaw at pangkaming pananaw. Ipakita naman natin ngayon kung paano ba may apply ang pantayong pananaw sa mga foreign dominant approaches. Ilan sa example nito is yung feminism. Alam naman na natin na ang goal ng feminism is yung equal treatment para sa men and women. Pero sabi ng critic, while feminism promotes equality, scholars include those influenced by pantayong pananaw, argue that feminist knowledge does not apply to all women. There's need to look at the social location of group of women and how gender, ethnicity, and social class intersect to shape their unique experience. Meaning, nakabase pa rin ito sa iba't ibang babae. Next naman is yung sa psychoanalysis which is talk about sa unconscious mind or thoughts at kung ano yung nai-impact nito sa atin. Ang sabi sa critic, one major criticism of Freud's theory is that he based so much of his interpretation on the results of the patient's free association. And he did no too ambiguous and his conclusion without even scientific evidence. Sabi nila, masyadong nakabase sa Western experience yan. Paano naman natin ito may apply sa real-world application? Una na rito, ang re-evaluating historical concept because pantayong pananaw has led to the reinterpretation of figures and events by emphasizing Filipino motivations and world. Another one is educational reform. Ina-advocate nito ang mandatory na paggamit ng Filipino bilang medium sa instruction, sa history, pati na rin sa social science classes to facilitate a deeper, more inclusive understanding among the general public. Lastly, pwede rin natin itong gamitin sa ating cultural and political critique. Pwede ito mag-serve as a framework to critique modern-day phenomena. Gaya na lang ng mga nararanasan natin ngayon, kagaya ng political corruption or foreign policy. Sa pamamagitan ng pagtatanong sa kanila if they truly serve the people. Ngayon naman, alamin natin ang strengths and limitations ng pantayong pananaw. Unahin na natin ang strength. Decolonization of knowledge. Pantayong pananaw is a powerful tool for dismantling the intellectual dependence on Western frameworks, allowing Filipinos to define their own reality. Kumbaga, hindi na dapat natin kailanganin pa yung mga West dahil pwede na natin gamitin yung pantayong pananaw. Pangalawa is yung cultural relevance. Prina-prioritize nito yung Filipino democratizes knowledge, making history accessible to the common people and integrating academic discourse with people knowledge. Kumbaga, mas madali natin itong maintindihan and mas accurate. Lastly, fosters national identity. It actively builds a stronger self-reflective national identity by creating an internal shared history and consciousness. Kumbaga, mas makikilala pa natin yung identity natin bilang isang Pilipino. Siyempre, kung meron itong strengths, meron din itong limitations or weakness. Una na dito is yung linguistic determinism. Critics argue that placing too much emphasis on the use of Filipino language may overshadow the complexity of content and lead to an arbitrary rejection of valid non-Filipino scholarship. Kumbaga, super na-emphasis na yung ating pagiging Filipino language and nawawala na ng kwenta yung. Number 2 is potential for essentialism. The focus on a unified linguistic cultural structure runs the risk of cultural essentialism by treating Filipino culture as a single static and homogeneous entity, potentially neglecting regional and class differences or diverse na linguistic group. Kumbaga, nawawalan na ng iba or nagiging isa na lang, kumbaga wala ibang culture ang Filipino kundi yun lang. Na-overshadow nito masyado yung iba pang culture na meron tayo dito sa Pilipinas. Lastly is methodological isolation. The closed-circuit model is sometimes seen as overly restrictive, discouraging productivity dialogue with global academic traditions and diverse theoretical framework. Thank you for listening.